The human brain is an organ weighing roughly 3 pounds that controls everything you experience. It sits inside your skull, using about 20% of your body's energy, even though it only makes up 2% of your weight. Most people think they know how it works. They don't. The prediction machine. Your brain does not react to reality. It predicts it. Every moment you experience has already been constructed by your brain before you become aware of it. The world you see is not the world that exists. It's a simulation built from memory, expectation, and fragments of sensory data. Your eyes send signals to the brain, but those signals are incomplete, blurry, chaotic. So the brain fills in the gaps. It guesses what should be there based on what was there before. Most of the time, the guess is close enough. This is why you can read text with missing letters, why you don't notice the blind spot in your vision, why you see faces in clouds. The brain is not interested in accuracy. It's interested in survival, and survival means speed. The prediction happens faster than conscious thought. By the time you notice something, your brain has already decided what it is. This creates a smooth experience, a seamless reality. But it is not real. It is a controlled hallucination. The illusion is perfect until it isn't. When the prediction is wrong, you feel confusion, discomfort. Your brain scrambles to update the model. It prefers to ignore the error, to bend the new information until it fits the old story. The cost is invisible. You walk through life experiencing a version of reality that is always slightly behind, always slightly wrong. And you never know which parts are real and which parts are invented. You live inside a story your brain tells itself, and the story is always more familiar than true. The efficiency problem. Your brain runs on you 20 watts of power, less than a dim light bulb. It cannot afford to process everything, so it deletes most of what you experience. Every second, your senses receive about 11 million bits of information. Your conscious mind can handle about 40. The rest is thrown away, not stored, not remembered, simply erased. The brain decides what matters before you do. It filters based on past survival patterns, loud noises, fast movement, faces, threats. Anything else fades into static. This is why you can walk through a crowded street and remember almost nothing. Your brain deleted it in real time. At first, this feels efficient. You focus on what matters. You move through the world without drowning in detail. Your attention feels sharp. The illusion is that you are seeing everything important, that your awareness is complete, that if something mattered, you would have noticed it. The truth is that your brain is constantly choosing what you experience, and it chooses based on patterns built when you were young, afraid, or trying to survive, not based on what is actually there. Over time, you stop noticing entire categories of information. Your world becomes smaller, more predictable. You see the same things because your brain has decided those are the only things worth seeing. The trap is that you believe your perception is complete, that the world you experience is the world that exists. You argue about reality with others, never realizing you are each living in a different simulation. You are not seeing less because the world is boring. You are seeing less because your brain is trying to save power. The memory fabrication memory is not a recording. It is a reconstruction. Every time you remember something, your brain rebuilds it from fragments, pieces of image, emotion, context. The reconstruction is never identical. Details change. New information blends in. The memory becomes a memory of the last time you remembered it. This happens automatically, silently. You have no way to know which parts are original and which parts were added later. The brain does not mark edited memories. They all feel equally real. When you recall a childhood event, you are not accessing the original experience. You are accessing the last version you told yourself. If you have told the story many times, the memory has been rewritten many times. It becomes smoother, more coherent, less accurate. The brain prioritizes meaning over truth. It fills gaps with what makes sense. What fits your current identity? What explains who you are now? The past is rewritten to justify the present. At first, this creates a satisfying narrative. Your life feels like a story. Events connect, patterns emerge. You understand why you are the way you are. The illusion is that your memories are evidence, that you can trust your own past, that the reasons you give for your choices are the real reasons. The cost appears in moments of conflict. You argue with someone about what happened. You are both certain, both wrong. The event you are defending never existed the way you remember it, but you cannot tell the difference. Over years, your identity is built on edited memories. The person you think you were is not the person you were, and the person you are now is based on a past that has been quietly rewritten. You do not remember your life. You remember the story you have been telling yourself about your life. The illusion of now. You do not experience the present moment. You experience the recent past. It takes your brain about half a second to process sensory information and construct a conscious experience. Every moment you feel is already over. You are always living in a delayed broadcast of reality. The brain hides this delay. It creates the sensation of now, of presence, of immediacy. But the now you experience is a quarter second old, stitched together, smoothed out. This is why you can catch a ball. Your brain predicts where it will be and moves your hand early. You never consciously see the ball in your hand. You see where it was. The catch happens before you experience catching it. In normal life, the delay is invisible. The illusion is seamless. You feel synchronized with the world. Your actions feel immediate. Your reactions feel instant. The illusion breaks in high-speed situations. In a car accident, time seems to slow down. Not because time changes, because your brain starts recording more details. The memory is denser, so it feels longer when you recall it. But in the moment, you were still half a second behind. The trap is that your sense of free will depends on feeling immediate. If you believe you are acting in real time, your decisions feel like yours. But every decision was made before you became aware of it. Studies show brain activity predicts choices up to 10 seconds before conscious awareness. You feel like you are steering your life in the present, but you are narrating decisions that already happened. The experience of choosing is real. The timing is not. You do not live in the now. You live in the story of the now, assembled moments after it ends. Dopamine is not a pleasure chemical. It is a prediction chemical. Your brain releases dopamine when it expects a reward, not when it gets one. The spike happens in anticipation, in the gap between wanting and having. Dopamine is the feeling of moving toward something, not the feeling of arrival. This is why scrolling feels better than finding, why searching feels better than buying, why the hunt feels better than the meal. The dopamine drops once you get what you wanted. The pleasure is not in the thing, it is in the approach. At first, this system drives useful behavior. It makes you pursue food, safety, connection. The anticipation keeps you moving. The reward teaches your brain what worked. The peak is the moment before success. The instant when the outcome is almost certain but not yet real. The dopamine surge is highest when the chance of reward is 50%. Uncertainty maximizes the feeling. The illusion is that getting what you want will feel as good as wanting it. That satisfaction is waiting at the end. That the next achievement, purchase, or milestone will finally deliver the feeling you are chasing. The truth is that dopamine drops after success. The brain stops releasing it once the outcome is certain. The thing you wanted feels empty because the chemical that made you want it is gone. So, you start wanting the next thing. Over time, your baseline drops. Your brain adapts to the dopamine surges. It takes more novelty, more uncertainty, more intensity to get the same feeling. You are not chasing rewards. You are chasing the feeling of chasing. The trap closes slowly. You build a life around anticipation, around the next thing, the next notification, the next message, the next like. The dopamine system is no longer driving you toward survival. It is driving you toward stimulation. You are not addicted to the things you want. You are addicted to wanting. The emotional override emotions are faster than thoughts. They hijack your brain before logic arrives. When you feel fear, anger, or panic, a small structure called the amygdala activates. It floods your system with chemicals. Heart rate spikes. Blood moves to your muscles. Rational thought shuts down. This happens in milliseconds, long before your conscious mind understands what is wrong. The response is designed for physical threats, a predator, a fall, a sudden danger. In those moments, speed matters more than accuracy. The brain prioritizes survival over understanding. In modern life, the same system activates for non-physical threats, an insult, a notification, a stressful email. Your body prepares to fight or run, but there is nothing to fight and nowhere to run. The chemicals flood your system with no release. At first, the intensity feels like clarity, like focus. You feel sharp, alive, ready. The emotion feels like truth, like the situation is as serious as your body is telling you. The peak is the moment of righteous certainty, when you are sure you are right and they are wrong. When the anger or fear feels justified, when your reaction feels proportional, the emotion convinces you that it is rational. The illusion is that strong feelings mean accurate perception, that if something feels urgent, it is urgent, that your emotional reaction is evidence of reality. The truth is that the emotional system is running on outdated software. It cannot tell the difference between a lion and a criticism, between a physical threat and a social one. It treats them all the same. The cost is slow. You make decisions in moments of activation that you regret when the chemicals clear. You say things, do things, believe things. The emotion fades, but the consequences remain. Over time, your baseline shifts. Your amygdala becomes more sensitive. Smaller triggers create bigger reactions. You start living in a state of low-level activation, always slightly on edge, always ready to respond to threats that do not exist. You are not feeling reality. You are feeling an alarm system designed for a world that no longer exists. The social scanning. Your brain is built to read faces, to detect threats in a crowd, to know who is safe and who is not. This happens automatically, constantly, without rest. Every face you see is scanned in 30 milliseconds. Race, gender, age, emotion, trustworthiness. Your brain assigns these categories before you notice the person, before you choose to judge. The judgment happens first. The justification comes later. This is not a moral failure. It is a survival mechanism. Your ancestors needed to make fast decisions about strangers. The ones who hesitated did not survive. The ones who scanned quickly passed on their genes. In modern life, you encounter more faces in a day than your ancestors saw in a year. Every subway ride, every scroll through a feed, every crowd. Your brain is scanning all of them, sorting, categorizing, deciding. At first, this feels neutral. You are just noticing people, just getting a sense of a room, just forming impressions. The scanning feels natural. The illusion is that your impressions are based on individual observation, that you are seeing the person in front of you, that your judgments are fair and accurate. The truth is that your brain is using shortcuts, patterns, statistical guesses. It is not analyzing the individual. It is matching them to a category and applying the associations stored in that category. The associations were built from culture, media, early experience. Most of them are wrong. The cost is subtle. You trust impressions that were formed in milliseconds. You make decisions about competence, safety, and character based on pattern matching, not evidence. You believe you are being objective. You are not. Over time, the patterns reinforce themselves. You notice things that confirm the category. You ignore things that contradict it. The world you see becomes more divided, more predictable, more simple. The trap is that everyone else is doing the same thing, including to you. You are being scanned, categorized, judged, and the judgment happens before anyone decides to judge. You are not seeing people. You are seeing patterns your brain was trained to recognize. The invisible habits. Most of your behavior is automatic, controlled by loops your brain built without your permission. A habit is a three-part cycle: cue, routine, reward. Your brain detects a trigger. It runs a stored behavior. It receives a payoff. The cycle repeats until it becomes invisible. You do not decide to check your phone when you are bored. You do not decide to eat when you are stressed. You do not decide to avoid conflict when you are anxious. The behavior runs automatically. By the time you notice it, it is already happening. The brain builds these loops to save energy. Every repeated behavior is expensive. Conscious thought uses resources, so the brain automates anything it can. After enough repetitions, the behavior moves from conscious control to automatic execution. At first, this feels efficient. You do not have to think about brushing your teeth, driving a familiar route, making coffee. The automation frees up your mind for other things. The peak is the feeling of flow, of moving through your day without friction, of not having to decide every small thing. The habits feel like freedom. The illusion is that you are in control of your behavior, that you could change if you wanted to, that the routines you run are choices you make. The truth is that most of your day is scripted. The brain runs the same loops in the same order in response to the same cues. You are not deciding. You are executing. The cost is gradual. Small habits compound. A minute here, a decision there. Over months, your automatic behaviors shape your life more than your conscious choices. You become a collection of loops. The trap is that habits are invisible to the person running them. Everyone else can see your patterns. You cannot. You experience each action as a choice. From the outside, it is a script. You are not living your life. You are running a program your brain wrote years ago. The brain is not designed for truth. It is designed for survival. And survival, for most of human history, meant speed over accuracy, pattern over detail, certainty over doubt. You are walking around with hardware built for a different world. It works well enough to keep you alive, but it was never built to make you happy, or informed, or free. Every system described here is still running, right now. As you read this, predicting, deleting, reconstructing, scanning, looping. You cannot turn it off, but you can know it is there. And that knowledge changes everything. Or it changes nothing. The brain will decide.